All right, good evening. I know it's a long day for all of you. Good evening. Not good enough. Good evening. All right, that's better. We're going to talk about the future is faster than you think, so let's get some excitement out here. My name is Darshan Shantamurthy. I'm the founder CEO of SISA, and I'm going to talk through some of the things that I think are going to be really exciting for all of us as we move forward, just as human beings, right? And one of the most exciting times of our era actually is what we're going to live through in the next couple of years. And one of the key things that I'm super excited about is the convergence of multiple technologies that are coming through for all of us. We've spoken enough on AI, but other than that, there are many other technologies, including telecommunication, robotics, your material science development, so on and so forth. We're going to talk a few use cases. So what do I want to cover in the next 15 minutes is briefly talk about 3 use cases of how technology is going to make our lives a lot better as we move forward. And then hopefully talk about a few things that as cybersecurity professionals we need to be wary of, and then potentially talk a little bit about what we as a company at SISA are doing. But let's get to the chase, yeah? So one of the key things is advances bring a lot of promises for all of us. And these promises are significant, right? So does anyone recognize what this photo means? I mean, what this picture is all about? Any guesses? Come on, I know we need to keep it interactive. I'm between you and the innovation box here, so I just want to make sure that we have some excitement here. So, any guesses what this photo is all about? Come on, shout it out. Anyone? It's flying? Flying taxis, very good. Can we get a round of applause to our friend there? Excellent. Flying cars. This is not too far away if you think it's out there, going to happen in the next 5 years. For those of you who don't know, this, what we call as EVTOL, which is electric vertical takeoff and landing, is already going to get commercially launched in California and Florida in 2024. Already a testing is happening and commercial launch in East, the global South, here in Asia Pacific region is happening in Singapore, and this is going to go live. And why is this such a big technology? Our major shift, we already had helicopters, which has been there for about 80 years. This brings in 3 aspects which helicopters don't provide. One is safety. There's a major typically, helicopters have 1 rotors. We all know, people from the mechanical background would understand what I'm speaking. But they have multiple rotors, which essentially ensures that there's a fallback mechanism and they have a lot more safety parameters out there. Second, they don't make noise as much as a helicopter does, so you don't have your hairs blown up when you actually have a helicopter going around you. And third, the price points, what they're expecting is to be lower than our gasoline cars very soon, in the next 5 years. So it's extremely promising. And this has been possible because of what I mentioned earlier, is because of convergence of technologies. So what you have when you have multiple, or in fact, thousands of rotors, you can't do it mechanically through a pilot. So you want to use artificial intelligence to make sure that you're able to have the right elevation, you're able to manage the temperature controls, so on and so forth. We won't get into the details of it. And of course, material science development, the fact that batteries have become more affordable, the cost of batteries have come down significantly, is making all these technologies really, really useful. So probably 5 years down the line, you may actually take one of this to fly into the airport, and from there actually take an aircraft, and then probably fly into AISS next time using a EVOTL or a flying car. And why does this make sense? right? Yesterday I was in the hotel lobby in my hotel room clicking a photo of the traffic on the Gurgaon highway. And apparently, it is said that about, the top 25 congested cities in the world, people spend about 300 hours of productive time in traffic, which is roughly about costs the world economy about $500 billion. That's the minimum, $500 billion of productive time is spent. So hopefully, these kinds of technologies really, really advance the kind of lifestyle that all of us have to lead. Any guess what is this? Second use case. Yeah? Sorry, wearable, very good. Any other guesses? Come on. So back in 2014, a medical researcher in Finland actually came across a major finding, right? And one of the key things, unexpected actually, was that he was actually finding out what was the connection, and in fact, multiple diseases like diabetes, migraine, cancer, and so on and so forth. So multiple diseases, but he could actually figure out there was something in common. And his hunch proved out to be slightly true, but he wanted data. And that was sleep, right? So one of the key things that he was very concerned, and he could narrow down, was that sleep was one of the major concerns or causes, but he was not very sure whether sleep actually caused these diseases, or these diseases were prone because of, because they were actually having these kinds of diseases, they were actually having lesser sleep. So they wanted data to be backed up, and he wanted real, authentic medical data. And then came the Fitbit, Apple Watch, and have multiple sensors that essentially had to come through, and he had to get a lot of this data, but it wasn't that accurate. So this is called Aura, a discovery which actually gets better healthcare data than what you otherwise would get because of a Fitbit or an Apple Watch. Sorry, go back slide. Any guess on what this is? This is my third case. Probably I'll get into what interests us much from a cybersecurity standpoint. But before I get there, what is this? Yeah? Humanoid robot. Yeah, very good. Round of applause to our friend out there at the back. Humanized robot. Actually, back in 2011, the Fukushima nuclear plant leak. I am not sure how many of you recollect. There was a major Fukushima nuclear plant leak because of a tsunami equivalent which brought down a lot of cooling systems of this nuclear energy plant. And as per the international nuclear energy norms, this was not for, they had to bring it down, and it was not meant for humans to actually enter at that point in time. And they had to actually, and of course Japan is known for its robotics. But so they said they sent a lot of robots, but nothing was actually working. In fact, they failed miserably. So then Honda, which was at that point in time had one of the best robotics, I think it was called Chemo, was pressurized to actually go and help salvage the situation. But it failed miserably, right? And that was a major embarrassment for Honda. And then after which led to a major event of actually making a lot of investments in robotics. And since then, from 2011 onwards, there's a massive investment that has gone into robotics. I'm just talking about humanoid robotics. There is, of course, industrial automation that has happened. Significant development has happened in that space. And Atlas is what you are seeing here, is one which today is one of the best humanoid robotics, which can actually be sent for adversarial conditions to help save people, including extreme cold or heat conditions at this point in time. So what does all this mean? This means that there are new level of challenges for all of us. I attended the session last, and it was pretty interesting, right? At the end of the day, we have privacy, we have security, And all that I can say is that it's going to increase multifold, right? So what is that going to mean? Two major trends. With this future ahead of us, the basically main two things that we need to note. There is going to be massive data explosion. If data was a problem so far, or is a problem today, it's going to increase even more. For example, a connected car generates about 40 TB of data every day, right? Every day, 40 TB of data. A commercial airline generates about 400 TB of data. And a smart factory generates about petabytes of data. Yeah, so that's the kind of data volume that we're looking at. And this volume is going to increase about 1,200 times as we go more connected with IoT, with these sensors like Aura, or for that matter, robotics that are going to come in. So data explosion is going to be a very, very big thing. I see the time up, a few minutes, and then I'm done, yeah? So second is, of course, security is going to be equal to safety. It's a big thing that is going to happen. At the end of the day, security so far has been a good thing for all of us, right? I mean, I'm sure all of us have the sense of actually, making sure that this data is protected and should be protected for organizational, but it can now start impacting the lives of people. So security is going to get sooner, closer to safety, and it's going to really, really be very impactful for the world at large. The third point which I wanted to cover in this, the future is faster than you think, is what we are doing as a company. So a couple of few things that we have done. One is from our continuous compliance automation, we've kind of integrated and brought a co-pilot within our product, which today you can integrate multiple other compliances, because compliances are going to be far and many as we move forward, with more safety requirements going to be there. And then, of course, our managed detection and response, we have been invested for the last 7 years. We have brought down our mean time to detect considerably because of extensive use of AI. And third, of course, our automated data classification solution today, which is being used by a number of banks across the country, does automatic data classification, especially data explosion, is going to become extremely relevant. And last but not the least, we do know with the extent of investment that's happening in India on manufacturing, so we have set up a hardware security lab, one of its kind, with all the necessary equipments and testing solutions for supporting the kind of work that is going to happen because of this technology innovation that's going to come our way, so that we can actually enable bulk of this technology, which is really going to come in and make the success that is required. With that note, thank you so much. I appreciate all your time, and super excited to go through the innovation box and listen to all the new pitches. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We have a token of our appreciation coming out to you. There were those fascinating stories and anecdotal references, the opportunities that truly come with advancement, and of course, the connected challenges that come with those opportunities as they arise, and the highlight of data and how that landscape is shifting as well.